And hello everyone, my name's Kieran from Promethean, and today I'm going to do a quick demonstration of our ActivPanel 10 and ActivPanel 10 Premium. So I've got the Premium in front of me, and what I've done is I've connected my Windows laptop by USB-C. So that's one cable that's charging my laptop, showing video, audio, and allowing me to touch and interact with the panel, which means I can move objects around. I can go to my files and open all of my files, or I can open my PowerPoint presentations. I have got a presentation for you, but I promise I won't spend long in there at all. So if I present this PowerPoint presentation the same way that you would do normally, I can use one finger to swipe forwards and backwards through my presentation, and if I have links, I can tap the link and move through the different links as shown there. I also have my ActivPen 2. And this is a clicker, so I can move forwards and backwards. This works with ActivPanel 10 Standard and Premium. It doesn't come with the standard model, but it does come with the Premium model. So if you want this and you have standard panels, you can buy this as an optional extra. Okay, so ActivPanel 10 comes in 3 sizes. So we have the 65, 75 and 86 inch. It's a bonded glass panel, so a really high quality, robust panel. You can hit it and it will survive. I don't recommend it. It comes with 5-year warranty, and that's on-site warranty. So if anything happens, you log a ticket with our support. We will troubleshoot that with you, whether it's with you, the teacher, or your IT team. And then if we deem it needing to be replaced by warranty, we'll get a panel to you and swap one out. The panels are all 4K. This panel has two 20-watt speakers built in. As I said, I'm connected by USB-C, so that's delivering power to my laptop, which is really useful. And it's up to 40 points of touch, and I'll show you that moving forwards. In the next slide, we have our Premium model. This has 65, 75 and 86s. But it also has a 55-inch as well, so that's an option for you. And anything in pink on this slide is an improvement over the previous model, the standard model. So it's a different type of bonded glass. Optically bonded means that you get a much better response time, much better quality of panel. Again, it helps improve that anti-glare, etc. You have a front USB, so if you have a guest and the panel's wall mounted, you want them to quickly plug in, they can do. We've got a built-in microphone, we've got more powerful speakers, we've got a built-in subwoofer. The most important technology in here are these two on this side. So full array local dimming, and it's a QLED quantum dot LED screen. So it's a really high quality screen. Full array local dimming means that the individual LEDs can be turned off or on depending on the image being shown here. So we have bright pinks and purples, so the LEDs are brightening to make those colours pop. Hard to see over camera, I appreciate, but then the blacks, the LEDs will be actively turning off, which is saving power consumption. So great for those schools that are really wanting to be energy conscious, net zero, carbon neutral. It's basically the screen brightness, it's twice as bright, so it can go 1,000 nits of brightness, but it really does halve the running costs of these panels. The difference with these panels, just to continue on with the Premium model, you do have the option of installing a PTZ camera, so I have one at the top of this panel, and that's an optional extra. It's actually got a bespoke USB connection at the top of the panel, and it's bolted on, so if you don't want that, you can unplug it. You have the ActivPen 2, and there's a dock on the left-hand side where the pen can live and charge. And as I said, it can be used as a clicker. It's actually a software pointer, red dot pointer as well, so you can see that on the screen there. No lasers involved. There's also a mouse mode, so I can actually click on my presentation. I could click through links, but here I'm going to end my slideshow, not keep any ink annotations. I can go and open a PDF or resources, for example. The third mode is pressure sensitivity when writing. So just quickly on the PDF, as I mentioned, it's all touch interactive, so you can pinch and you can zoom to zoom in and zoom out. And because I'm using Edge here, if I click on Draw, I actually have the pen tools built into here as well. So I could annotate, I could ask questions, I could have students come up to the panel. If I click off drawing, I can save that because it's in Edge. I can save that to my files, and I can use that as a handout if I wanted to, so that's really useful. But there are times when, as a teacher, you might be showing a video, and I'll put one up in a minute, and you want to annotate over the top of it. You want to draw attention to that video for your students and ask some questions, or better yet, have them come up to the panel and model on the screen. So if I start this video, I'm going to turn the sound down, and I'm just going to skip ahead, scrub through the video to this point here. Let's just pause. So now I want to do a bit more with that video. If I click the flame icon, and I can either do it on the pen, or I can do it on the front of the panel, or I can do it on the remote, which is just here, I can click the flame icon, and that brings up my Promethean ActivSuite. It's a suite of tools that isn't built into the panel because the panel actually has no operating system. It's not like our ActivPanel LE, which is an Android 14 panel. It's not like some other panels on the market that has Android built in. We recognise that some schools and trusts don't want Android on their network. They don't want Android in their schools. So this is a great option. This suite of tools can be deployed by your IT team and installed on Windows, Mac, or Chrome OS. You get 2 licenses of the software, which gives you access to all of these tools. And you can use those tools over the top of any content that you're showing on your laptop. And I'll show you what you can do with that. If you don't have a license but have the software installed, so a guest teacher or a teaching assistant, if they have the software installed but haven't got a license, as soon as they plug into the panel, whether it's by USB-C or the standard HDMI and USB, they get a 7-day license. So it means that they can use these tools, they get access to screen share, annotate, whiteboard, even without a license. They can use it for 7 days, and then that license automatically gets decommissioned. So don't see licensing as a blocker. It's actually done in a really clever way. So it means that if you have a mixed estate, some Promethean panels and some other manufacturer panels, you're committing to Promethean and you want everybody to use ActivSuite, you can have teachers use an ActivPanel 10, plug in their laptop, get that 7-day license, and maybe tomorrow they're going to be teaching on a non-Promethean panel. That's fine, because they've got that license and they can use this bit of software. Okay, that's enough about the software. So if I click on Annotate, because that's the first tool I want to use, and I can snap it to the top, the bottom, the left and the right. I can choose a different pen size, I can choose a different colour. I'm going to leave those settings as they are, quite like the pink today, and I'm going to annotate over the top. And this is my first example of multi-touch. Or I can use the back of my hand to rub that out if I want to. And if I click on the 3 dots, I might click bin to clear those annotations and start again. So I'm drawing attention to this object on the screen and I'm asking my students questions. Again, I could be mind mapping, they could be writing something down, they can use their fingers, they can use the pen, whatever you're comfortable with. You can also use the back of the pen as that rubber as well if you want to. Okay, you can undo and redo that as many times as you want to. And my favourite feature from here is if your students have done something meaningful, you can press the 3 dots to get that extra menu. You can take a screenshot. Okay, and because this is using Windows, if I crop that down, actually I just want to get rid of kind of the background information, I can copy that, and if I close Annotate, because I'm using Windows, it's in my clipboard, okay? I can paste that into anything. So I could paste it into this presentation. I don't know why, but if I press and hold, which is how you right click on a panel, paste, there's that picture. Okay, there's that screenshot, which is really powerful because I can add content to a presentation, a document, or the whiteboard, which I'll show you in a second, and I can carry on using that as a resource, using that as a reference, or then move to another resource and say, yes, you're on the right lines, or no, you're not. Okay. Back in that flame icon, if I open my menus and go to my whiteboard, this is a digital whiteboard space called Explain Everything. So if I click on New Project, I can have a blank canvas, or I can go from a template, or I can open a file. And that's an Explain Everything file, but it also might be a PowerPoint presentation, it might be a Word document that I want to import. And I can also, speaking of import, if you use ActivInspire, you can import your flip charts into this piece of software. This is the evolution of ActivInspire moving forwards. For now, I'm going to do a blank canvas. I'm going to press and hold again, paste, there's that picture. Back there, ready for me to use. And I can pinch and zoom and crop and rotate that. I can pick up the pen, I can carry on annotating. I'm on black, so it remembered the last pen setting, but if I click on the toolbar on the left-hand side, I can change that pen setting to a different color. Maybe this time I want to use blue. Did I click on blue? No, I didn't. I clicked on red. Now I'll click on blue. There we go. I can do different things here. The Add button allows me to add content. So as I mentioned, you can add files like PDFs, PowerPoints. I can add sticky notes, clip art. I can even do media searches. So this is one that I quite like. I can do a Google image search. I've got emotions at the top of the list, so I must have been talking about emotions in another video. And I can drop some emotions in there. And I could be asking my students maybe, how are you feeling today? They might circle it, they might come up with a pen and circle it, or they might want to do something different where you actually cut the one that you like. So I'm feeling fine today. I can move that over and that's me feeling fine. Okay, and again, I can pinch and zoom and rotate. If I use two fingers, this is an infinite canvas, so I can zoom out, zoom in, and you can see where you are in the right-hand side of that screen. In the bottom right-hand corner, if I click the plus button, I will add a new page. And if I press the up arrow, I can see the different pages. If I press and hold on the background, I can do things like edit the background, and I might want to have a grid on a yellow background with blue, light blue lines, and I might change the pattern size to be much larger, or I might go for a grey background, yellow lines, green lines, whatever you want. You've got the options there, you've got flexibility. I can add text, I've got some maths tools, and these all pinch and zoom and rotate. And when I draw at the top, the lines, it will snap to the top or snap to the bottom, so I'm guaranteed those straight lines there. And these are objects that I can move and pinch and zoom. If I tap them, I can move them between layers, I can straighten them, make them opaque if I want to, delete them, lock them in place. If I click the home screen, which was on the top left-hand corner, I can export this. So I might save it as a PDF, a whiteboard file, or pictures. If I go to Files, I can open some that I've already got. So let's do my rainforest habitat, click open. That's going to download in the background because I'm saving to my OneDrive. And I've opened that from my OneDrive as well. And like I said, I can click through this. It's a presentation style Explain Everything file that I've got there. So a really powerful, really robust tool, and more tools are getting added to here every single day. I've got access to spinners and timers. So these are really useful teaching tools that teachers often say they like to use every day in their lessons. So this is a timer. Because I'm using Windows 11, it can be snapped to the top, the bottom, the left or right. I can have multiple open. I can have up to 8, I think. If I press the cog icon, I can change between 3 modes. So I've got a timer, a stopwatch, or a clock. I could change between analog, digital, change the time as I see fit. And there's also things like celebrations. So when it hits 0, my timer could show some confetti, could show some fireworks. It can make various different sounds, harp sounds, or a typical alert. And end phrases as well, things like congratulations, time's up. So they can all pop up there as well. I can also press the full screen and get those to be the focus during the lesson. And if I close those down, the spinners work in exactly the same way. So if I click on spinner, this is a random selector. If I click the drop down, you can see the selectors that I've previously created, or if you click on the create list, you can create your own. You can actually create those from a spreadsheet, a CSV file. Most common one is, if I click on my green class, there's student names. Again, I can have multiple. Click in the middle, it will spin, and when somebody gets chosen, Dan, you can see the confetti there and it would make a noise, and congratulations, Dan is going to have to do the task that I'm setting. I quite like things like brain breaks. They're quite good. Good to break up a lesson, or maybe after break lesson, so you get somebody to do a froggy hop, and it's a bit of fun. Any websites that you might use that are interactive will be interactive on the panel. So if I just quickly show my fluid simulation one, this is quite a nice calming website. Quite nice to have some music in the background, but as you can see, it's multi-touch as well, so that works really well with the panel. At the front of the panel, you have some buttons. So you've got the volume up and down, that's a slider. You have a cog button that allows you to get to more settings, so you can change the brightness. You can change all the audio settings, so the bass, treble, etc. You can automatically have the panel turn down and turn off, and that's controlled by a proximity sensor that's built in. So you can be confident that as long as you haven't got your laptop plugged in and still on, so that needs to be off or on standby, the panel will recognise that it doesn't need to be used. It will see that the room isn't being used by that proximity sensor. When the last person leaves, it will start the sleep timer and start the standby timer. And after the 3 minutes or 10 minutes, it will turn off the panel. So really good for your energy saving and energy consumption. Other settings, you have the ability to freeze the screen, and you can see that it's frozen in the top right hand corner. So if you want to leave some work up for these students to follow and quickly check an email or open your MIS, you can do. And you can also disable the touch interactivity. So if you have students walking around the classroom, they won't be able to manipulate the screen at all. Another tool that we have in that ActivSuite menu is the ability to screen share. So this is wirelessly casting to the panel from, it might be from your Windows by pressing Windows K, might be from your Mac, Chrome OS, or iOS, and Android is available as well. If I'm on the same network, I can just use mirroring. So I've got my phone, pretend it's an iPad. I swipe down from the corner, select the panel, and you can see that I appear in the waiting room. For those of you that have seen our screen share waiting room before, this is actually new because we've introduced broadcast mode, which will allow me to broadcast what's visible on the screen out to these devices. So really powerful for you to use. Just to show this, again, very quickly, the first way I recommend using this is a mobile visualizer. I'm not going to do anything exciting, I'm afraid. I'm just going to take a selfie. It's my go-to. And the benefit of this would be a student's piece of work. Maybe they're writing some notes in their notebook. And you have access to those annotation tools or spinners or timers. And you can, again, draw attention to different things on the screen. I don't know why I've done that shape on there, but I have done, and I can undo and redo. The nice thing about this is if it is a student's piece of work, take a screenshot of it. And again, it's like a mobile visualizer. Crop it down. And I'm going to copy that, close annotation, and you know where I'm going with this. I'm going to take it to my whiteboard this time. And it's got nothing to do with rainforest this time, but I'm going to, let's just move that out the way. Paste that, done. And there you go, my face is now in the rainforest lesson. You'll do something far more intelligent than that little trick there. But any time I can go back to my screen share, and then I can close and move to a different app, for example, the Kindle app. You might have a resource that you're using at the moment and you want to read along with your students. So this is about the life cycle of mammals, so I can read that along, have my students read along. You know, it's a great versatile tool, and you're using the technology that you already have in the classroom, but casting it up to the panel or casting the other way. Okay, that's my whistle-stop tour of using ActivPanel 10 and ActivSuite. The last thing I'll mention that if you click on the three dots, we have Learn, which is learn.prometheanworld.com. It's a free CPD website, and I always go on about it in any video, or if you ever see me face to face, training. We offer training for free. We don't charge for it. For any school that buys 5 panels or more, we will come on site, or we'll do virtual sessions where we do this on a Teams call and you can ask me questions, or I can do a more detailed video for you. That's absolutely fine. Although I don't like being on camera, here we are. I can do that for you. So please, please, please do speak to your partner who's installing the panels for you, or come directly to Promethean. We do training, and it's so important that you as a school get the return on your investment with this technology. And it might be little things like understanding Edge and how that can annotate over PDFs, because I go to so many schools and they don't realise that that's a feature, and that's built into Windows. So yes, please, please do speak to us or your partner about training. And again, we offer it at no cost. Okay, thank you for your time. Hopefully this video is not too long, and I'll see you on the next one. Thanks then, bye.